Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone and welcome to this presentation on the impact of risk on organization. I am Muhammad Albiansyah and today we will be exploring several crucial aspects of risk management that every business professional should understand. Let's dive in. In this presentation, we will be discuss subject matter, which means the subject matter of this presentation is number one is level of risk, number two is impact of hazard risk, number three is attachment of risk, number four risk and reward, number five attitude to risk, and number six is risk and triggers. We start with level of risk. Since the 2008 global financial crisis, organizations have increasingly focused on proactive risk management. This approach offers significant benefits in four key areas. Number one is strategy. Better strategization through risk analysis of various options. Number two is tactics. Choosing tactics based on risk consideration of alternatives. Number three is operation, identifying and mitigation operational disruption risk. Number four, and lastly, is compliance, which means anticipating the risk of failing to meet legal and regulatory obligations. Let's look at the practical example. Injuries to key players. A sports club managing the risk of injuries to key players. While they aim to reduce injury chains, they must also consider the potential impact, such as um, diminished team success on the pitch, lost revenue from merchandise sales. Okay, next we go to impact of hazard risk. Hazard risks are those that can only negatively impact organization goals. These include workplace health and safety issues, fire prevention, property damage, and product defects. Additionally, hazard risks extend to IT infrastructure dependencies, potential potential disruption like computer crashes or hacking attacks, and theft and fraud, especially in cash handling organizations. Next is attachment of risk. Risk can be attached to various aspects of an organization beyond just corporate objective. As shown in figure 2.1, significant risk can be identified by considering key dependencies, corporate objective, stakeholder expectation, and core process. Next matter is risk and reward. The crucial relationship between risk level and expected reward. Organization must quantify risk exposure, confirm their desire to take on that level of risk, and ensure sufficient resource to cover potential consequences. This is the figure 2.2, which means the explanation of risk and reward. When organization places a value on risk in this way, it must do so with full of knowledge of the risk exposure and must be confident that the risk exposure is what the organization wants. More importantly, the organization must ensure that it has sufficient resource to cover the risk exposure. In other words, the risk exposure must be quantified, the desire to take on the level of risk must be confirmed, and the organization capacity to withstand possibly adverse consequences must be established. Let's take a look at the example. In Formula One Grand Prix, the Ferrari team decided to fill a driver with wet weather tires before the rain actually started. Wet weather tires wear out very quickly in a dry condition and make the car slower. If it rains soon, this will be a very good decision. In fact, it only started raining after 4 or 5 laps, maybe, by which time the driver had been overtaken by most of the other riders, and the set of wet weather tires has was using had been the make in the dry condition. He had to return to the pit to change to new tires that were more suitable for the race condition. In this case, a high-risk strategy was adopted in anticipation of significant risks. However, the desired outcomes was not achieved and instead incurred a significant loss. Next, we move to the attitude to risk. Organizations have varying risk attitude from risk averse to risk aggressive. These are included by sector, market maturity, most member views. I'm sorry. This include by sector, market maturity, and board members' views. We will be briefly discuss how the Brexit referendum in 2016 demonstrated changing attitude towards risk. A clear example is where the majority vote in favor of UK exit from the European Union. Decision triggered a challenge for the UK government to activate the necessary procedure to leave the EU, the, the, the EU atau European, and formulate an appropriate strategy to deal with the consequence of the decision. Key challenge for the UK government is maintaining sustainable economic success post-Brexit. This requires a cautious approach and adaptive policies to deal with the risk posed by the change in EU, EU membership status in order to maintain the stability and the UK economy in the future. Okay, next we move to the risk and triggers. We'll explore the concept of the control risk often associated with projects. Uh, will use a building construction example to illustrate how unexpected discoveries can impact project outcomes. In the process of for example, in the process of constructing a building, the condition of the soil to be used may not always be clearly known. As construction work progresses, new information about the nature of the soil condition may emerge. This news could be positive, such as discovering that the soil is stronger than expected, meaningless the foundation work is required. However, there is also the possibility that soil is found to be contaminated quicker than expected, or there are even adverse discoveries such as weakness remains. Um, so lastly, we will introduce the multi tool for representing risk management activity, explaining its components and application. So this is the figure 2.3, which explaining of disruptive events and multis. The left side of the multis represent a specific hazard source and will indicate the classification system used by the organization for risk source. In the figure 2.3, the risk source are yeah, the risk source used are high-level strategic, tactical, operational, and compliance. This shows the right side of the multi shows the impact of risk even occurs, and figure 2.3 use the high-level components of the financial infrastructure, reputation, and market impact if a risk occurs. In the middle of the multi is the risk occurrences category of the disturbance that can affect the organization, and the same category for people, process, place, and products are also used there. Used here. The purpose of using the multi illustration is to show the risk classification system used by the organization and the potential impact caused if the risk occurs. Control can be implemented to prevent such event from occurring, and this can be represented by the vertical lines on the left side of the multi. In the same way, the recovery controls can be represented by the vertical lines on the right side of the multi. The multi representation of the risk management process can be used in a variety of ways, including the representation of the operating risk. In addition, the multi can be used to illustrate the different types of control available to organization. The use of the multi has become widespread, especially in the public sector. Below is example of the practical application of the multi for the identification of fire-related prevention and response control in residential kitchen. Now the now this is the figure of the example. Okay, so as we've seen, understanding the impact of risk on organization is crucial in today's business environment, from hazard risk to the balance of risk and reward. Effective risk management can significantly influence an organizational successfully. So that's for me. Thanks for watching this presentation on the impact of organization on the impact of risk on organization. I think that's enough. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you next time.